Cavs Nation. Last night, it wasn't pretty. No. It wasn't pretty at all, but it mattered. Shorthanded, yes. On the road, yes. No, Donovan Mitchell, yes. Starting the fourth quarter in a 9-point deficit, yes. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, they didn't fold. And they had every reason to do just that. Okay. Instead, my boy DG number 10, shout out to 10 Nation. We got Cavs Nation. And then we got the super fans that just love people who got the jersey number 10. Shout out to y'all. Instead, Garland said, "Hold on, Spider. Let me borrow that cape for a minute, okay? Because y'all remember last year, I kind of got cheated out of Clutch Player of the Year award. I kind of got snubbed out of that. Let me remind y'all, Garland put on his cape last night. His cape didn't have to borrow nobody. He got his own, okay? Scored 14 points in the fourth quarter and led this Cavaliers team to a late run and a tight victory, a 120 to 116 win over our division rivals, the Indiana Pacers. Now, y'all know every time we see that dang on yellow and blue, it don't matter if it's Indiana or Michigan. We got a problem with that. We won't smoke with that, and we never feel quite right being in Ohio when you lose to a team with yellow and blue. Y'all know. Shout out to the Buckeyes, but then smack the Buckeyes because they already didn't drop the ball. But that's beside the point. Shout out to y'all though. Yes, this Indiana team is struggling, right? They are injured, severely injured. Their roster is it looks we can't identify with this new Indiana Pacers look, right? Because these aren't players we're familiar with because they didn't trade it off everybody and a lot of people are injured. So but the people don't care. When it's a division game, it's always smoke, right? It's always everybody playing their best because it's a division game. So nobody cares about the excuses. Nobody cares about who didn't play or who was injured and who's not available. Doesn't matter. Cleveland was tested. Their poise was tested. Their depth was tested. And their resolve was tested. And tonight we're going to break down all of that. You feel me? We're going to talk about the grittiness that we saw in yesterday's victory against the Pacers. We're going to talk about what that win actually means, if it means anything. We got to kind of look in the future a little bit, look ahead and check out our upcoming schedule. We also kind of got to look back at our last 3 games, and even that Detroit loss a little bit. Like, look at what's going on right now. Right. And let's start putting the math together. And let's see if the math. Let's see if this team, this 2025, 2026 version of Cleveland Cavaliers pass our eye test. And at the end of the day, y'all, we got to honestly ask ourselves the question in the chat, in the live chat, in the comments. Where do we think this team can end up at the end of the season? Do we think we're looking at a top 6 playoff team? It's crazy that I'm asking that. Top 6 playoff team, considering we were the best team in the East all season long last year. But last year, right? This year, do we think that this team is a top 6 team, or are we looking at this team being a playoff squad? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. But again, welcome back to Calf State of Mind. Y'all already know what time it is. It's your girl, Naja Lee. Love to be here with y'all. I'm the host of Calf State of Mind, the realest Cavaliers breakdown on the net, and the only place where hoops meet higher perspective. I promise we're going to go upstairs each and every episode. You feel me? And y'all know each and every episode is powered by Free Your Lens, a lifestyle brand, encouraging dope people like you to just do dope but do it with purpose and intention. Whatever you doing out there, make sure you do it with purpose and intention and with a little bit of consciousness. You feel me? Okay, that's Free Your Lens. You make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hop into the chat, help us while we're on our road to 500 subscribers. Help us climb. We getting up there. You feel me? We appreciate all engagement on this entire Beyond the Lens TV channel. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Appreciate y'all for the comments, the likes. You feel me? All the comments, even if I don't agree with the comments or you trying to roast me on the comments, whatever. Appreciate you. Thank you for pulling up again and again. All engagement is welcomed and much appreciated on this channel. Y'all hop into the chat. We gonna get this live show started, man. Y'all know we do this every Wednesday, right around 6 p.m. EST. You feel me? It could be 6:02, 6:03, 6:07, but it's right around 6 p.m. Today's episode, close call. Cavs near loss to the Pacers says a lot. Let's talk about what yesterday's game actually says to us. Let's break it down. All right, so obviously, I love to look at the box score. I love to see quarter by quarter breakdown. I watched the game. I was fuming at the game. There were several times I turned the game off. I said, let me hit the sticks. Let me play the Cavs on the 2K because they about to drive me crazy, bro. So okay, so then all right, let me cut the game back on. Let me see what we doing. Oh my God, we still doing okay, let me cut the game back off because my blood pressure, right? I've been doing this Cavs stuff for so long. When I say I'm a Cavs fan, y'all, I've been down since Eric Snow. I've been down since Mark Price. I've been down since been down. I'm a lot older than I look, right? And remember going to see the Cavs when we were playing the Spurs and we was getting smoked by, when y'all remember when Dennis Rodman played on the Spurs? That's a long time ago. I went to that game, right? And so I've been with the Cavs when we were 20 game wins, 30 game win seasons, right? 17, 18 game win season, real bad, right? So it behooves me with all this talent. We struggle. And I don't know. It'd be wrecking my brain, right? So let's look at the box score. Look at the first quarter, right? Now, going into this game, the Pacers, over the last 5 games, they have been averaging over 30 points in their first quarter, right? Okay. The Pacers they've been figuring it out. They've been dialing it in. They haven't been making excuses. Yes, their record is trash. Dash. It's the worst record in the league. Don't care. Again, at the top of the episode, what I say, division rivals. They don't care about no record. When they see the Cavs, they won't smoke in the city, right? When we see that blue and that yellow, it could be Indiana or Michigan. We won't smoke in that city, right? We won't. Come on. The thing about me though, the eyeball test, right? Where I always ask, are they passing the eye test? Right? Just the natural basketball eye. You just looking, you just rocking. Are they passing? 3.5 quarters a game. 3/4 a game, I'll be like, they are not passing the eye test. What's the eye test, Nas? The eye test for me is, are they playing basketball like they love the game? You know, when you playing pickup, again, I go to this because I think a lot of people still play pickup basketball. I still play. I still hoop, right? I ain't as good as I used to be. I ain't as young as I used to be. But I still hoop. And when I hoop, I still care, right? I'm still running hard. I'm running hard, right? Because I respect my team. I don't know these dudes from a can of paint, right? But I'm going to let them know, like, I'm on your squad. I'm going to hold mine up, though. You feel me? Out of respect and love for the game. It ain't no shortcuts in this. If you love basketball, you play like you care. Now, you put a couple $1,000,000 on the table. Oh, you put $40 million on the table. Oh, even if you the low man on the roster, oh, you put $2, $3, $4 million on the table. Oh, you think I'm not sprinting now? Y'all bugging. So when I'm watching the game, I'm like, yo, we just play like, you know what? We'll get them tomorrow. I didn't have my Wheaties today. It's okay. Whatever. I don't have an overdrive. Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. It's gonna come to us. No sense of urgency. We're just gonna breeze on through, and I don't understand that. Also, this is Cleveland, baby. This a blue collar. This a work city. This a grind city. This is, if you ain't trying to get it, you getting ran over, ran down. You feel me? Where that energy at though? Because that's actually the city. If you ain't got no hustle, you gonna get one. If you ain't got 2, 3 jobs, you got 4, 5 of them. You feel me? We don't understand. We lazy and shit. What you doing? Shit, I ain't doing shit today. What you do yesterday? Shit, I ain't do nothing. What is it? COVID? That's the only time I saw people scratching their heads without nothing to do in Cleveland. Motherfuckers got something to do because guess what? Gotta get paid. Gotta get paid, right? Y'all getting paid, but y'all not bouncing the ball like y'all getting paid. And that be the thing that just sends me spiraling. It just blows my top, right? So I'm watching the game and I'm like, okay, we get off to a slow start. The Cavaliers typically get off to slow starts. Not mad at that. Okay. Here's what I really be bugging at, because it's not the scoring. One thing about the Cavs is we know how to put the ball in the hoop. Even sometimes in a game where we look like we can't, we're like, damn, ain't nothing falling. Feel like we just shoot 120 points. We average 119 points. We're still a top 10 scoring team in the league. Offense ain't never going to be our problem, but you know defense wins games. And the reason why, shout out to DG, and we're going to break down his stats, but the real reason why we won this game, okay, is because not only did DG drop 14 points in the fourth quarter, shout out to that spark. We needed that. We needed that cape. We needed that heroic performance, right? We needed you to remind the world that you are the most clutch player in the NBA, okay? We needed that. Now, we also needed the team to back that up. Back that up. Unlike the Cleveland Browns, where you have Myles Garrett and his squad, and you got Shador Sanders and his squad, and these are two separate squads. Unlike football in the Cleveland Browns, where you can be like, okay, I'm gonna do my job on the defense, and I just gotta wait on, you know what I'm saying, my guys on the other side, they gotta go down there and give me a good drive and score. That sound good. But over here in basketball world, right? You got to play on both ends of the court. So yes, we can have a guy that's going to give us 14 miraculous points in the fourth quarter to get us back energized and get us back in the flow of the offense. But we also need that same energy defensively. And I'm not pointing at DG. I'm saying collectively as a Cleveland Cavaliers, when you see your guy doing that, putting his cape on, putting the team on his back, you put him on your back and you do the same thing on the defensive end. Because depending on what you need in the game, you don't need everybody to be able to drop 14. You need somebody to get down there and get some blocks. Somebody to get down there and get some hustle plays, get some rebounds. Let's talk about the stats. So shout out to the fourth quarter, not just the fourth quarter DG's performance, but shout out to the defensive effort in the fourth quarter. We held them to 23 points. That's their lowest scoring output of the matchup. The fourth quarter. So not only did we hold them to their lowest, we hit our peak at 36. Right? And that's again with DG's 14 points. But even without DG's 14 points, we still outscored them by 1 in the fourth, right? You still needed more work to do because you was down 9, right? So you needed to outscore them. But look at that. Look at that. So shout out to the defensive effort, and let's talk about this game a little bit more in a little bit higher detail. Again, over here on over here on Cav State of Mind, y'all know I do her rules on Monday. Y'all be getting, you know what I'm saying, you know how the brain be sometimes. It be, jumbling it up. So on Cav State of Mind, we got to go upstairs a little bit, right? We got to go upstairs a little bit. So we're gonna get into DG's statistics breakdown here shortly, right? When we talk about his leadership. But I want to focus on the depth right now, and we'll talk about individually how our team stepped up as a collective, right? And let's look into the individual output from our players, right? Our key guys. So Jared Allen, right? We've been on him. We've been on him. Shout out to before before I even get into Jared Allen, shout out to Esco World Boss. Shout out to your comment. Appreciate you for pulling up. Welcome, welcome. The team been hurt, but the Spider and DG experiment should have been over 2 years ago. You can't win with 2 small guards. So now here, I don't completely disagree with that. Like I don't know where, shout out to you and your comment again. I don't know where that could be possible in this NBA, where you have at moments Wimbiana playing a point guard. I don't know when Luka is playing point guard, when your average point guard is like 6'6" these days, when you can have 2 small guards And they're not like super feisty. They're not like Patrick Beverly's. Like they're not, just that pit bull Connaughton and the guy we just played over here at the Pacers, right? And Pritchard. They're not like that as far as defensively, just a pest and just annoying. So if neither one of them are like that defensively, and their offensive skills kind of like overlap a lot, right? They operate in the same shooting zones on the court. They might do different things. Like they both have the floater. Donovan got the over the head floater, right? And Darius can hit the floater off either foot. You feel me? So with either hand, both of them can actually. So it's just kind of like they kind of do the same thing just in different ways because Donovan is so much more athletic, stronger, right? Bigger, more solid. But then on the flip side, DG is more fluid, more his steps are more, they can be staggered. He's more shifty, his handles are impeccable, but they still kind of do the same thing, right? So you damn near got the same player, same archetype of a player. 3-level scorer, small guard, no defense, right? Can play defense to a certain extent based on their abilities and desire, you know, to play defense, but that ain't what they calling card is. That being said, do I think two small guards can win in this age of the NBA? No. Do I? Maybe back in early 2000s when you had Tony Parker, Ginobili, you know what I'm saying? And you had on the other side, you had Chauncey Billups, Rip, you feel me? You had smaller guards kind of scattered around, right? Stephon Marbury, he wasn't that big. You know what I'm saying? So you had late 90s, early 2000s, right? Even kind of towards the mid 2000s a little bit, you had shorter guards, Kyrie's, right? Steph Curry's, da 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 da. This day and age of the NBA ain't cut like that. Everybody eating they Wheaties, right? So when the whole NBA eating they Wheaties, right? In a injections, I don't know what they doing, but everybody big. So if everybody big, I don't see how it can work. I love I love my Cavs, right? I just don't see. Bingo. Drew Holiday would fit perfect with Spider. You feel me? He really would. And I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I'm not campaigning for Spider to leave. Y'all know I love Don Don. This is my guy. He all over. This is my guy. Don Don been my guy since Louisville, right? Because I'm an ACC girl myself. So I love Louisville anyway. So I be trying to track the hot ones from my schools that I, appreciate. Since watching Don is over, over these years, he's been nothing short of nothing short of exceeded my expectations. Like I think nobody had any idea he would be this phenomenal of a player. He needs another player next to him that's going to do the things that he's not going to do though, right? So a Drew Holiday would be great. Drew Holiday a little older though. So when Atlanta went and got Nickeil Alexander, I said, bingo fucking bango. That's the guy we need. That's the guy we needed right there. Right there. Nickeil Alexander, right? The cousin of Shea Gildress Alexander. That's the guy we needed to pair somebody young, somebody defensive minded. He could play the point. He can knock down the three. He can get into the lane, right? But defense, defense, defense. That's what's on his mind. So shout out to Miss D. Welcome back. Welcome back. Miss D always pulls up Cavs State of Mind. Her core, her rule. Don't matter. She pulling up to do the sports talk over here on Beyond Elias TV. So shout out to y'all. Again, get into the chat. Get into the chat. It's always love, always community over here on For Your Lens, Beyond the Lens TV. I appreciate y'all for pulling up tonight, man. Yeah, man. So I think I think he needs a better compliment. The problem is that gonna happen in Cleveland with the starting core? If this iteration doesn't work, which everybody besides Kobe Altman, I mean literally everybody besides our GM sees that this doesn't work, is not gonna work, right? Especially when you don't have the compliments next to him, right? So we'll talk about a little bit about Max Strus, because before we even get into the Darius Garland stats yesterday, let's just talk about Max Strus a little bit because um there was a update on him, and I'm gonna jump around to Max Strus real quick because is Max Strus the complement that these two guards need at the three, right? It's been the conversation: Max Strus, DeAndre Hunter, Max Strus, Jalen Tyson, whatever. Dean Wade, what's going to be that third guy? That third guy. We got our two bigs, we have our two guards. Who's going to be that third guy? Obviously Kenny Atkinson loves Max Strus. I love Max Strus. I think he's a hell of a player. He's out for at least another month. So we're not going to get Max Strus. Strus will be sidelined for at least another month as he continues to recover from surgery on his broken left foot, the team announced yesterday. So if we get Max Strus back late February, right after All-Star game, you know what I mean? And let's say we don't get the Max Strus back until mid-March, right? He still got to play, get into game time shape. He got to find his rhythm. It may take even longer. Who knows? He's a rhythm shooter, right? He's a volume shooter, right? So I don't know if he gonna, as soon as he get ready, he gonna be popping that thing. Look, it took Darius damn near 3 weeks, right? And I understand that he's missed so much time. Max Strus has probably going to be miss equal time, right? All this season. No, it's going to be more time for Max Strus. That being said, we probably give him to mid-March, late March, right? So in the meantime, in between time, what are we looking for that three, right? That missing piece. Miss D said it can happen in Cleveland. They have to find that player in a draft or free agency. So yeah, the draft, it has to be right. It's gonna have to be the draft. Like, we don't have no money. We already in the second apron. We was hoping it was gonna be DeAndre Hunter. It's probably not. If there's a 1-to-1 trade for DeAndre Hunter that we can make, that's equal money, equal everything, because we're a second apron team, then maybe we can make that happen. But ideally, we kind of need to flip DeAndre Hunter. We need to flip Dean Wade. Both of these guys have proven to be unreliable in the playoffs, and DeAndre Hunter just ain't, since his little, I ain't about to disrespect him. Since Ty Jerome has gone, right? I ain't gonna disrespect DeAndre Hunter, but he was the mother man last year when he had his bestie. When they was bromancing, okay? Now all of a sudden this year you ain't got your bromance on, and you ain't playing like you give a so what we gonna do with that third? Maybe they should start Lonzo. Okay, so if you start Lonzo, and you talking about start Lonzo instead of DG, or start Lonzo with Spider, start Lonzo with Spider, and then bring a $35 million guy off the bench. You gonna have people burning jerseys in Cleveland. You don't want that. Esco World, you don't want that. We burn jerseys in Cleveland. We can't have that. We can't have a $35 million motherfucker coming off the bench. It can't happen. It can't happen. It can't happen. On top of that, Lonzo can't shoot. So when you got somebody whose jumper is broke next to Donovan, all they gonna do is trap Don. They gonna trap him. And what happens when you trap him? And Lonzo ain't trying to go to the basket. So if they trap Donovan, right, he gonna kick it out to Lonzo. Lonzo's goofy ass gonna take the jump shot because he ain't trying to attack the paint. Maybe he think he too fragile or something. I don't know. Get down there anyway. Let's figure it out. Darius going down there. He's the smallest man on the team. But Lonzo with his broke jumper, he gonna take the open jump shot. You're open for a reason because it's broke. No money in the bank. No need to go there, right? So I don't think that would work, but I like what you're thinking because what Lonzo brings to the team, nobody else can. He has a basketball IQ that is connected with his speed that nobody on that team can replicate, because there are moments in the game where he is literally 2-3 steps ahead, right? And he waiting on the team. Come on, bring your ass on down. Come on. Because I already see what's about to develop, right? Or there are moments defensively where he just make ridiculous plays, right? From saving the ball and, hitting it off somebody and then saving it, just crazy stuff that he be doing, that you like, damn, if we can just, we could afford to play him a lot more minutes if he was shooting better, or if he was just driving to the basket and getting to the line. Right? Him not doing that, it kind of makes him more of a liability, which is why somebody like Craig Porter Jr. is taking advantage of that. He took advantage of that in last night's game. As you can see, I'm gonna pull this back up, and we can look at Craig Porter Jr.'s number, and I'm gonna save my boy DG to the end, and because his numbers matter a hell of a lot. But this is part of Cavs depth, right? So we talked about Jared Allen a little bit. We talked about his 12 big rebounds. We also are about to talk about Craig Porter Jr.'s 9 big assists. But to get a bigger or more in-depth picture of CPJ's importance, look at his box score, right? Look at his production. I've been a proponent of saying, I've been saying all season long, this man need to be playing 20 plus minutes a game. Kenny Atkinson, you cannot afford to run 12 people every game. You can't do it. Proctor, he a rookie. He shouldn't be playing. He good. He all right. He gonna be really all right here soon, and then he gonna be really good thereafter, right? But he ain't there yet. Lonzo Ball, he got a name, right? I sound like Martin Luther King. He got a name, but he ain't been like that in a while, right? And I understand we got to give him a little grace. Got to let him catch his rhythm, right? But you've been taking too many shots and you ain't caught that rhythm yet. So we're gonna have to move on to somebody who has been productive, and it has been Craig Porter Jr. all season long. Yeah, he's had some games where he hasn't had a lot of shot attempts, therefore he hasn't had a lot of output. But usually when he gets the minutes, he produces. He produces. First of all, out the gate, biggest glance to me is he has the second highest plus minus on the team, and the first highest is a non-starter as well in Naquan Tomlin, right? The bench is so important for this Cavs team, because we really don't be knowing what we're gonna get with the starters. Most times we think we're gonna get two in a possible, right? We think we're gonna get a little bit of Darius. Okay, we're gonna think we're gonna get a whole lot of Donovan, and we might get a little bit of Mobley and a little bit of Allen, right? So I'm saying two in a possible because it's really all up in the air. Y'all play spades, y'all know how that go. But Craig Porter Jr., when he gets minutes, he always delivers. First and foremost, he gonna give us hustle plays. Let's talk about the hustle plays. My man got 2 steals and 3 blocks. Who are we talking about? What? Okay, 2 steals and 3 blocks. Those are defensive player of the year numbers. If he last guard who got that was Marcus Smart. His statistically, he up there with the Marcus Smart of the DPOY, Marcus Smart of the Boston Celtics. He needs will never see the next Rondo, the next, if we don't give him the minutes. We might be looking at the next Rondo. Look at the numbers. 8 points. So what? He don't care about that, but he takes smart open shots, right? 1 for 2 for 3, 50% from the 3, 50% from the field, right? Got to get a little better on the free throw, but that's the entire team. I don't know what's going on over there in Cleveland. I don't know what's in the water. I have no idea what's going over there at Rocket Field, Mortgage House, ABCD, LMA Arena. They keep changing their name, y'all, so I don't be knowing. I don't know what's going over there, but the free throw discrepancy, baby. One thing that scuffed my Timbs is missing them free ones. 67% from the line. That's some ghetto stuff. 67% from the line. And it's been like that though. That's real ghetto and real janky. We need to do better. I see what you're saying. So Cavs' best hope is Max Strus coming back at least 80%. I feel like if we can get an 80% max, that still becomes the second best catch and shooter on our team. A 80% max is still the second best catch and shoot person on our team, right? First best obviously will be Sam Merrill. Second best at the end that point will be Max Strus. Okay, even at 80%. Now, if he can get to 100 or get to 92 ish by playoffs, then by golly, we might have a chance to make a little noise. But I mean, but that's very hopeful, wishful thinking. I don't know. Craig Porter Jr. though, he deserves more minutes, and he made the case for it last night, shooting 50% from the field. Okay. 9 rebounds, y'all. 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 turnovers. That's okay. You give me 4 turnovers, or you give me 9 assists, I'm okay with that. And then you also backed that up, got 3 blocks and 2 steals. So you made up for every last. You're still a plus in that turnover category because you gave it up 4 times, but you got it back 5. I'll take that. +1, I'll take that. CPJ need more minutes. Absolutely. I would always play him 28 plus minutes. I would actually argue to play DG. Now, DG probably played a little bit more minutes in the fourth quarter than he would have normally because he was on fire. But I would even argue to keep Darius Garland minutes around that 30-point mark, his minutes, and to increase Craig Porter Jr.'s, right? I would play Craig Porter more than Jalen Tyson, to be honest. He can just do a little bit more. Plus, he can create offense, I think, at a higher clip. Now, y'all know I'm a big fan of Tyson, though. So that's not a slight to Tyson. I love Tyson. Tyson is on my wall. Y'all don't see him, but I got Garland, Mobley, Tyson, and CPJ on my wall because they really like that to me. I think they are the future of the Cavs, regardless of what happens after this core 4 experiment, because the experiment will conclude. We don't know how it's going to conclude. We don't know if Donovan's going to stay. Donovan's going to go after this. We would love for him to stay. You're always welcome here, Don. We love you here, buddy. You always got a home here in Cleveland. However, we don't know if it's if it's JA or DG or whatever. I think that the upper management is, even though that they might say that they are even in the future, they may say they're not interested in trading DG and or Evan Mobley. I would beg to differ. I would put more money on that they will entertain any offer that makes sense. At the end of the day, if Luka can be traded, it's of anybody, and that's the truth on that. What's Donovan Mitchell's contract? Well, I know he signed a 3-year, $150 million contract. Mitchell contract 2 years ago. So pop that up there. Boom. So he signed a 3-year, 153.3. Okay, get that 0.3 in there. $1 million extension. The max veteran extension guaranteed, and he has a player option in his final year, which will be next season. 27-28. So it is potentially worth over $380 million if he qualifies for a further extension after 10 years. So, it might be smart to go ahead and re-sign. Now, if he does that, then that means we'll probably have him and Evan. They'll probably be saying we'll build around him and Evan, and they might trade off DG. I don't know. But if he leaves, you have a good young core. Absolutely. That's why I'm like, I can't even say, but here's the thing, though. Getting behind Porter, Tyson, and Tomlin on top of Sam Merrill and Mobley, damn it, that's a starting 5 right there. Porter, Tyson, Tomlin. Okay, Mobley at the 5, Tomlin at the 4, Tyson at the 3, Merrill at the 2, and Porter at the 1. Make me the GM. What we doing? Stop playing with me. Get this right to the motherfucking check at this point. Come on, man. Gilbert. Dan Gilbert, give me a phone call. Hit my line, email me, get in my DM, get a hold of me. Okay, because Kobe man, let me tell you something. I wouldn't be high on nobody else but them five. And outside of them five, and I love Donovan. And I love DG, right? Shout out to TN Nation. And shout out to JA. I love my boy with the fro too. When he act like he got some sense. I love JA too. But all of them can go for real, for real. Because I think the youth movement, just like it has just affected the NBA, just ran rapid, in the WNBA. All these teams understands if you can get them young and cheap, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Tomlin been showing out. Let's look at Tomlin stats real quick. Tomlin played 21 big minutes. I'm a big proponent of Tomlin getting more minutes. Why? Because he plays with a lot of energy. Plus, he can guard multiple positions. Also, he has a high rate of stopping whoever he guards. Why won't you just put him on their best player? The other night when we played Denver, the best person checking Murray was Jalen Tyson. And for some reason, Kenny Atkinson couldn't see it. When Tyson was on Murray missed the shot. He tough shot, missed it, right? When other people were on Murray was cooking. This is the same thing that's happening with Tomlin, except for we got to see Tomlin in action a little bit more because other people weren't available. Plus, Dean Wade ain't that good. He's not that good at all, y'all. That being said, Tomlin played 21 minutes. He had 7 points. I'm very proud that he shot well. He was restrained in his shooting IQ, right? He didn't just take the shot because he was open. He looked around. He moved the ball. He got better, the ball to another person that can make a better decision or create a better shot. So he was 3 for 5, 1 for 3 for 3, right? 3 rebounds, 1 assist, limited turnovers, 1 turnover, okay, 1 block. He was a plus 10. Now these stats, when you look at the stats, 7 points, okay, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. That ain't really crazy. However, he was a plus 10, okay? Made a dramatic impact on this team, including the rest of our supporting core. Sam Merrill, 19 big points. Evan Mobley, we've been saying you have to shoot more than 15 shots a game. That has to be the minimum marker. I would like to see 20 plus shots, at least around 20, especially if 12 of them are going to be in the paint. That's what I would like to see. However, Mobley is still a little weak up top, little weak down low, weaker down low, and a little weak up top still. So I think that the more strength he gains, the more shot attempts we'll see. I think it will improve his confidence. He's not aggressive because he knows that he's not stronger than the other guy checking him. That's what I'm seeing. When he absolutely knows that he has the edge somewhere, right? Usually in strength and or length, he becomes more aggressive. If he think he gonna be easily moved off the block, he not gonna try too hard offensively. Yesterday, 16 attempts, 8 for 16, 50% from the field. Only shot 3 from the 3-point line. That's what I want to see. I like if you missed the first 2 3-point shots from Evan Mobley, don't even shoot no more. Just go ahead and get it in blood, get it in the paint. You feel me? Perfect from the free throw line. Evan Mobley has been struggling this season from 3, so it's great. It's super refreshing. You could tell that he's been working on his game. 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds. Got to pick that up. I mean, somebody who got a 7'4" wingspan should definitely be getting double digits in rebounding. Y'all remember it was a time when Amari Stoudemire wasn't getting no rebounds, or when Karl Anthony Towns wasn't rebounding the ball like that, and you was like, "What you doing? What are we doing?" Rebounding is about effort. Rebounding is about positioning before the ball hits the rim. You got to get into the spot. And if you're 7'4", you shouldn't need to work that hard to get into the spot because you should already be down there. Once the ball goes up, you should be hauling down to the paint. I'm not seeing that from him. I'm not seeing the type of effort that I want to see, the same type of effort that I see from Jared Allen on the 3-point line. I mean, on the from the rebounds perspective, I'm not seeing that from Mobley. So, obviously, although we can pat him on the back for the 20 points, shooting 50% from the field, much more efficient. We 6 rebounds ain't gonna cut it. That's also why this game was close, because we weren't able to rebound he, not the team. We still out rebounded the Pacers yesterday, but it's Mobley's contribution, because if Craig Porter Jr. doesn't come off the bench and get 9 rebounds, if DeAndre Hunter doesn't come off the bench and get 9 rebounds, we lose this game, because that means we didn't out rebound the other team, which means they got more boards, which means we can't get in the fast break, can't get in the transition. We rebound the ball, we limit the turnovers, we try to win the game. But look at our turnovers yesterday, though, because it's ridiculous. 19. 19 turnovers yesterday. Ridiculous. Our turnovers come from poor decision making in traffic. I like to you got to be able to see the traffic before it gets there, and if you're driving into the traffic, you better have a good outlet, and don't figure out that outlet when you're already up in the air, right? You jumping up trying to figure out the outlet. Oh, who am I passing to? Because I go, no, that's tacky, messy, loose basketball, and that's not how we play. And if it wasn't the Pacers, we would have lost this game, right? So, got to clean that up as a team. But Mobley individually, I think he did well, as long as he kind of step up his rebounds. I think it's going to continue to improve for him. What's really been looking good is his assists, right? His offensive IQ is definitely improving. He's getting more players involved, and I think that his willingness to pass is kind of a gift and a curse. He's a great passer, but because he's a great passer, I think he kind of leans towards the pass a little bit more versus leaning to score. Like, you don't have to be Draymond. You don't have to just be a great passer and play defense because you don't have no offense. Shout out to Draymond, though, but we already know what's up with that. You actually got offense, and you got size, and you got skill. So use your skill and then back it up on the defensive end as well. Can the Cavs move up the standings? You know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Ah. Oh, I think I need to go to the NBA, don't I? Yeah. Can the Cavs move up the standings? So obviously we are second in our Central Division, right? And we already know who's leading our division. Detroit basketball. Shout out to Miss D. So Detroit is number 1 in the conference, right? Following by Boston, who is 23-12. Followed by number 3, Knicks, 23-13. That's a half game difference between the two. Toronto, 22-15, right? Another game and a half difference between the two. And then the Cavs and Philly are tied, right? We have more wins, but we also have more losses. So we are tied in games back from 4. So right now, I mean, if this was NCAA, they would have 2 5 seeds, right? They would have Toronto 4, they would have Philly 5, they would have Cleveland 5, because we practically at the same, but they have a slightly better win percentage. We're both 0.55, but they're 0.559. So being petty. So can we move up the ranking? Yeah, I mean, now, and that's kind of what I asked at the top of the broadcast. Are we looking at a top 6 team? Are we looking at a play-in team? Or are we thinking that we can sneak up there in a 2 or 3 team up there with Boston and New York? Let's talk about it. Ms. D says she doesn't trust Boston, Toronto to keep pace. I trust Boston more than Toronto. I also think Toronto can absolutely finish this season, being a 4 seed. So it's kind of twofold for me. And the reason why I feel like is if Toronto stays healthy, I think they have a couple intangibles going into the playoffs. Now, in the playoffs, I don't trust them at all. I don't trust Brandon Ingram in the playoffs. I don't think Scotty Barnes is going to be able to score nothing in the playoffs. You feel me? Or they actually got a little squad though. So that's why I'm like, Toronto might be all right. They might be all right. They got RJ Barrett, they got Quigley, they got what's it, that's ain't that the boy named Quigley? Yeah, Quigley, BI, Scotty Barnes. So they, I mean, they got a good core, and I don't think they're gonna make any noise in the playoffs. I don't care what seed they are. I still think that if they are fourth seed and they have to play you know, this fifth seed team, I think they're going to lose that series, right? So I don't, I ain't, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about Toronto. That being said, I do think Cleveland could potentially end up as a third seed. I would trust Boston a little bit more than New York, to be honest, mainly because when I look at the number one hitters on both teams, the Jalen's. If you put your money on, you gonna put your money on Jalen Brown or Jalen Brunson? Let me ask y'all. In the East, you putting your money on Jalen Brown or Jalen Brunson? If you had to go get you a win, right? It's fourth quarter. It's 3 minutes left. You Boston, you down by 8. You Brunson, you down by 8. I said Brunson. See what I'm saying? You New York, you down by 8. You gonna put your money on Jalen Brown and his Celtics or Jalen Brunson and his Knicks? Now, for me in my house, right? I hate Boston Celtics. Hate with a passion. I'm very indifferent on Jalen Brown though, even though he wears that stanky green. Because I think Jalen Brown can just do too much. He's 6'7", right? He played both sides of the court. Yes, both Jalen's can take over. Absolutely. But one Jalen can stop you, get a block, be the transition spark, right? And I feel like as a team, as a team playing on the road, would I want to play in Madison Square Garden or would I want to play in Boston for a series? Madison Square Garden comes with its own hype, its own, celebrity and its own, history. But playing in Boston is when it's different when you looking at them rafters, right? When we looking at the rafter and you looking at all them jerseys and you like, damn, I'm really playing like, the greatest team of all time. That's crazy. And all of them legends are in the crowd. All of them. If they're still with us, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to those legendary Celtics players who have transitioned on. But the ones who are still with us, they're at the game. And it's different playing in Boston and they legends is there and they legends did what the new bloods trying to do. Right? So the new bloods is always trying to prove a point. In New York still trying to get it. So it's like I'm playing in New York and it's a show because it's New York. But it ain't a show because y'all ain't got no history. Not no significant one, right? So yeah, the Knicks up and down, Jalen Brown because he did it before. Yeah. Not only did he do it before, like as a team, they won, but like he was the playoffs MVP. We know what he for sure can do in the playoffs. And we know how he can pull up his team. On top of he got another Olympian on his team in Derek White. So Derek White can do it as well on the biggest of stages, right? So they got enough, you know what I mean? Plus the coach is a championship coach, right? Shout out to Mike Brown. Mike Brown got some rings with Golden State and all that, right? But Mike Brown trying to make sure Mike Brown got a job. Get my drift? Not over there in Boston. They good. He not worried about it. Cat going to be the key for the Knicks. He don't step up enough. Yeah, he the key. The bigs are the key. Like the NBA is different. If the bigs don't step up, you don't have no hope. Like, your guards can do as much as they want to do, right? It's a reason why Lucas, I need a big. I need a big. We can have phenomenal guards, but you need a big, right? You're not gonna score all these points shooting threes. You need the paint presence, right? So it's the difference between, like, when Anthony Edwards, I'm sorry, Cat went to New York. Anthony Edwards, okay, give me Randall, right? Boom, boom. We rob it. When Edwards does well, great. When Edwards and Randall do well, it makes it real hard to beat that team. Because now you got you smoking them from a guard position and from a big position. It's what the Cavs are waiting for with Evan Mobley. It's what we're waiting for with Evan Mobley, right? So, I think that we can move on up and possibly get into to first of all, we only 4 games behind second seed. We gotta catch a stride though. We can't win 3 and lose 2. We gotta be able to get off 6, 7 in a row, 8 in a row. We can do that, get into our bag for a little bit, we can climb up real quick. And once we get into that top 4, I think we can kind of stretch our legs a little bit. But that we can't be in that bottom 4, we definitely can't be 7, 8, 9. That's crazy. That's stupid. Detroit, Philly going to give New York problems. They have tough bigs. Yes, they do. And they got depth at the big, right? People say, I was like, Cavs, why y'all ain't go get Drummond? They just be letting the exact player that we need, big, brolic, ain't got to score no points. He can still get out there and give you 20 rebounds. We go get Thomas Bryant. Respect to Thomas Bryant, though. I like his energy. You know what I'm saying? I like his vibe. He seemed like a cool guy. We needed brolic, though. We needed something that we don't already have. We already got a paperweight, featherweight big. We need a heavyweight big, right? Somebody that can still move. Somebody who's still confused. He's still the old YN. He don't know if he want to wear braids. He don't want to get a fade. If he want to have a curly fro, he don't know what he want to have a sponge. We need somebody like that, though. He's still trying to keep up with the young guys. That's what we need. Why we don't get the old boy who down there playing in Puerto Rico? What's his name? JaVale McGee. Big, bro. Like, I ain't got to score. I'm going to get down here, throw these balls, get these rebounds. You said New York's weakness, their problems with their bigs showed up when the Pistons beat the Knicks down. Beat them down, yeah. And the Pistons between Duran and Isaiah Stewart, yo, it's real. It's Pistons is a problem, bro. It just is what it is. It is what it is. Do what she said. Shout out to JTTVP. Get into the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, man. Appreciate y'all, man. We on our road to 500 subscribers, man. We climbing up, and we gonna get there this year, y'all. We gonna get there. Matter of fact, I'm trying to get there by the end of the month. So help us get to 500 subscribers. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. Get into the comments, get into the live chat. And again, if y'all watching on the replay, man, just show some love in the comments. Let me know what you like about the episode, you know what I'm saying? And pull back up every Wednesday. We do this at 6 p.m. EST. You're heard. It's always love in the chat, too. So that's why I be telling y'all to hop in. It's all love in this community, in this Freer Lens community, man. Let's talk about the Big Ten. Let's talk about the Big Ten. Let me rehydrate. Hold on. DG had an impeccable game, incredible game. Again, it showed his leadership, that 14 big points in the fourth quarter while staying calm under pressure. We kind of saw him a little frazzled in the first half, right? We saw him screaming at the refs. We saw him, you know what I'm saying, kind of like doing a little bit of complaining. It's cool. The refs wasn't calling nothing for nobody, though, right? I seen a lot of calls that should have been called against the Cavs. I said, see, the refs don't give a fuck this game. They say we chilling. We going to the cookout afterward. So we gone, right? Maintain his composure. LeBron, hi, woosah. We gonna chill. 14 points in the fourth quarter. Shout out to DG, right? His efficiency is trending up, right? You know, when he came back from injury the first time, right? Then he kind of re-injured it a little bit, and he wasn't really finding his rhythm. Well, that has started to change over the course of the last 6-7 games, right? Not only has he found his offensive rhythm with his shot, but he's been doing a great job of getting everybody else involved. Let's look at the stats. 29 points, 14 from 23 from the field, 25% from three. Got to get better, but I like that he only shot four, though. I love that. You don't need to take 12 threes. Stop it. Stop it. 6 assists. Might I add, he had no turnovers yesterday. Also adding 2 rebounds. Okay. What an incredible night out against the Pacers. Really showed up and showed out. Um, Again, without Mitchell, when Mitchell doesn't play, Garland not only has to be the organizer and get everybody in their right place, get them involved, but he has to also be the lead scorer. There's no way around it. Can't wait on Mobley to be the second guy. It's got to be Batman, and it's got to be Robin. Period. And the Robin has to, unfortunately, but fortunately, it's got to be DG, and he is equipped to be the Robin as long as Evan has outings like that where he can give us 20 points shoot and shooting 50% from the field. Ideally, we want Evan Mobley to be in that 22 and 12, that 23 and 11. Like, that's kind of where we want him to be, but until he gets there, I'm okay with 18 and 10, right? That's about, his career averages are right around like 16 and 9, right? And this year he has been struggling to get us 9 boards a game. Most games is right around 8, okay? Last game, again, 6 rebounds. So, you know, with that, that's okay. But our Robin, he's getting better from the field. His IQ, and you can tell his IQ is improving because he's had, outside of yesterday, he's had consecutive double digits assist games, right? He had 10, he had 11. He had a game where he had 10 rebounds just recently. He's been playing, right? Playing great basketball. So he's getting back in his game shape, his rhythm, his field goal percentage, and his IQ, and just the eye test. It shows. Last night game was a point guard win. We needed that. We needed his leadership. We needed his resilience. We needed his control of pace, his ability to read what the defense is giving, and him to make quick adjustments on the fly. Nobody does it better. Um, his free throws, getting to the line yesterday. Last night's game, though, he didn't get to the line, but over this stretch of 6, 7 games, he has been making his presence known. Now, yesterday they just wasn't calling the fouls, so I mean, it was a little janky for everybody when it came to the line presence. But at the end of the day, we still snuck that victory out, right, by 4. And it was a great game. It really was a great game. I mean, I was stressed out, but here we are on the other side of a victory. Okay, what we need now, right? A clear offensive identity, right? I think it's starting to clear up because you can see us taking less threes a game, shooting 50 threes a game, 45 threes a game. We're still number 1 3-point shooting team in the league, right? But we got off to a hot start, right? And number 1 shooting 3-point team in volume, not percentage. Okay. So we need a clear offensive identity, and I think that's going to clear up through just availability and just with health, right? Once we start to get more of our key pieces back, we still don't have Larry Nance, right? We obviously are still going to be missing out on Struz for another month. So that's late February, early March, and probably mid March just to see a decent Struz. Okay. So hopefully, we're guessing by mid March we'll have all of our Cavalier components together, and we can go off and wrap up this season and close out strong. Um, Consistent defensive principles. Okay, so these close games matter, but then when we struggle against bad teams, you know, we're still lacking in our defensive principles, rebounding, blocking out, right? Rotating, understanding, am I switching, am I hedging, all of that. Tightening up there, okay? When Mitchell is available, and he had a rest night yesterday, but he's been our superhero practically all season. So he can't continue to do that. Nor can we rely on Darius Garland to, score magical 14 points. And although he is the most clutch player in the NBA, him and Don. These are our guys. These are our heroes, right? But we need the team as a collective to step up. So shout out to Craig Porter Jr., shout out to Naquan Tomlin, shout out to Jalen Tyson, shout out to Sam Merrill. Okay. Shout out to DeAndre Hunter. Hasn't played it great offensively as of late, and especially not yesterday, but he had 9 big rebounds. So we needed every last one of them. No shout outs to Dean Wade. None. Okay. Y'all know why. He not that good. He needs to be better. More physicality, more pressure around the rim, offensively and defensively. Now, I think that we are starting to see that again as health improves. Evan Mobley missed 5 games from a calf sprain, and I will argue with anybody and they mama that the Cavs brought him back too early. Them first 2.5 games, he still wasn't playing like himself. He was shooting 8 shots a game. I'm like, that boy ain't ready to play yet. But we getting smoked, and guess what? He came back too early. We were still losing. Now what? So now, first game in a long time, he shot the ball 16 times. More physicality, more rim pressure. Also, on top of that, rim pressure also includes rebounding the ball. Shout out to JA with 12 rebounds yesterday. With that, we need better spacing and reliable role players. I think we're starting to see the emergence of reliable role players with the likes of Tomlin, with the likes of Porter Jr., with the likes of Tyson, reliable role players. You almost know what you're going to get every single time when it comes from the energy and the hustle department. Now, the stats may vary, right? But with consistent minutes, you can kind of pencil in that, okay, I know I'm going to get 5, 5, and 5 from CPJ every single time. Every single time, you're going to get that. So if you know you're going to get that with from CPJ in 17 minutes, it would behoove you to play him for 25. Let's just see. And so last night he gave us 8, 9, and 9. Stop playing with me. Good teams win games. Great teams know exactly who they are when the lights get bright. We don't tuck our tails and fold sometimes like Jared Allen when the lights get too bright. We stand tall, we stand firm, and we never fold. Shout out to Not For Profit. Shout out to Free Your Lens. You know how we do. We don't be folding for nobody. Okay? Great keys. Mitchell need a sidekick to step up. Yes, he does. I think Jalen Tyson was a great sidekick for a while. Again, I think they need to play Naquan Tomlin a lot more. Naquan Tomlin also has to get into that gym. For some reason, we need a shooting coach. We need a better shooting coach with the Cavs. If we need a better shooting coach, Lonzo Ball jumper been broke all season long. Dean Wade's jumper been broke all season long. Naquan Tomlin, he don't get enough minutes for real. So I can't really say his jumper broke, but it need a whole lot of work, right? So we got some significant players that if they just shot a little bit better, our win-loss column would look completely different. So I think you're right. He needs a better sidekick, or he needs the entire team to step it up like another 3%, right? Maybe even round it up to 5. If they can't improve who his number 2 is. If his number 2 is Darius Garland, because we're waiting on Evan to be his number 2. He's not there yet, won't be there this season. So his number 2 by far is Darius Garland. With his number 2 being Darius Garland, you won't go far in playoffs. However, if every single body on the team elevate their game 5%, you can go far in the playoffs. Because you need depth. Depth is what's going to win us those games in the playoffs. It's not going to be Darius. It's not going to be just Donovan. It is going to be depth and consistency. It has to happen. And we haven't seen that yet. We've seen not even just this season. I'm talking about in the season. I ain't even talking about the playoffs yet. We haven't seen consistency yet outside of Donovan. We haven't seen it. So yes, when as Darius continues to get into better shape, get into the NBA, get his rhythm back, he'll naturally be the second pair to Darius. I mean to Donovan, the second head of the snake, right? But that still won't be enough. So the remainder of the squad got to elevate another 5%. The remainder, so we still need improvement from Evan. We still gonna need improvement from JA. We gonna need improvement down the roster. Everybody got to do better if we running with Donovan and Darius for the long haul, especially for the remainder of this season. It just is what it is. No way around that. The reality check is this: our defensive identity has not been established. Our half court execution lacks because a lot of times we don't shoot a good percentage from three, and we're not a mid range shooting team. So our half court execution sometimes is a little dialed down. Our paint physicality, we know that sometimes that's MIA. And we do know that there are a lot of times that there is not any shot creation outside of DG and Spider. Now, understanding that, we also better recognize that the number one separating factor between contenders and pretenders is consistency through adversity. So we know where we lack. We know where the holes are. But are we going to let another team expose us for that? That's the question. Are we gonna let somebody pull our car? Y'all know we from Cleveland. You feel me? We from shout out to Ms. E, she from Detroit. You feel me? Ain't nobody pulling your car, dog. We ain't built like you can't pull my car. So just because you know where my weak spot is, don't mean you could run up. It's never gonna happen. Can't run up. Run up, get done up. Okay? So that's what we need to do. We have to be consistent and remain consistent through adversity. So yes, this was a big win for us. Yes, did we finally need to pull out that win? Usually we would have folded in moments like this. We have in the past, right? We folded against Detroit. I'm sorry, we folded. We folded. It was too loud in there. We got a little shook. We got a little shook, right? Yesterday we didn't. As long as we can remain consistent through adversity, even if we got to win the ugly, it got to win ugly. It ain't got to be pretty every time. Every time we ain't going to put up 148 points and shoot 46% from the 3-point line, and Donovan is doing these, and Darius is doing these, and Evan is running down the court doing these, and everybody throwing up basketball gang signs, and everybody is skipping it. It ain't always going to be like that. But we got to win these gritty ones too. I'm so happy we did, because I'm like, if we lose to the Indiana Pacers, I might not do another Cavs State of Mind for the rest of the month. If we lose to the Indiana Pacers, and we'd already lost to some other teams that I'm like, yo, about to make me burn a hat. But I'm not going to do that. So shout out to the Cavs, man, for not folding, for staying 10 toes down and going ahead and closing out that victory. Cavs State of Mind close. Here we go. With a healthy roster and defined roles, nobody can stop us. With a healthy roster and defined roles. I'm not talking about every other night we don't know who we are. I'm talking about consistent through adversity. Nobody can stop us. With Garland and Donovan in synergy, right? And at the end, because they both can close, right? If they have clear pecking order late, sometimes in the fourth quarter, DG might hold the ball a little too long. And you'd be like, just get the ball out your hands and give it to the man, right? Sometimes it's the flip. Spider can hold the ball too long. Get it to the point guard. Hold on. Let's get the. When they are connected and there is no real hierarchy, but there is synergy there, we can't be stopped. If Mobley continues to grow his assertiveness, his aggressiveness, not just on defense, but offensive too, we can't be stopped. And most importantly, if we can hone in on truly is the Cavaliers' identity prior to April, right? I'm giving us to April because look, Stru's coming back at the end of February. One would think, I mean, Larry Nance been going for a calf strain damn near all season now, bro. You better come on. You got to come on. So at least by All-Star break, or at least right after, you know what I'm saying, mid-February, whatever, we get Nance back. I don't know. Right? But if we right around healthy, around March, and you give this team a whole full month of a healthy team of play, right? Practice, game time, film, go back, study, regroup, retool. It's smoke in the city. If we are confused in April, we're gonna get bounced in the first round. We won't have to worry about what team we think gonna come out the East, because it won't be the Cavs. That's a fact. That's a Snapple fact. Open that drink, pull it up, won't be the Cavs. That's what you see on the cap if you did that. So if we can hone in onto our identity, obviously Mobley continues to evolve his offensive attack. Garland and Mitchell regains their connectiveness, that same synergy that they had last year on with the likes of Sam Merrill coming into the fold, Max and Tyson and Craig Porter. If all of our guards continue to synergize and connect on top of our team getting healthy as we go into March, it's gonna be long night. I can't wait. I think the ceiling is still high for the Cavs. I think because we got off to a very, very depressing start, I think it makes for a better climax. It makes for a better story at the end. And you know, I like me a good old story. You feel me? I like me a good old bad time, like me a good old movie or whatever. Harlan Coben, like me a good writer, right? So give me some twists. Consider this season a thriller, right? Consider this Cavalier season a drama thriller, okay? Psychological thriller, might I add. Okay, let's just call it that. And by the end of this movie, by the end of this season, we will be the victors and we will be screaming, Cleveland, this is for you. Shout out to LeBron. He ain't on this wall, but he on this one, yo. I know I can't put him on this one because then he got a Lakers jersey on over here. He got a Cavs jersey on, but he got that 2016 Cavs jersey on over here. I can't put that on that. That one dear to my heart. I keep that one to myself. But y'all, Cleveland, this is for you. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Cavs Nation, right? Shout out to Cavs State of Mind. We do this every Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. It's 6 p.m. ish. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes it be 6:02, 6:05, 6, but it be before 6:15 usually. Okay, so 6 p.m. EST every Wednesday. On Mondays, right? We do our Her Court, Her Rules, where we break down the latest in women's basketball. Right now, we've been doing NCAA basketball pretty heavy. Unrivaled season just tipped off. What was that on Monday? Those games have been exciting. If y'all ain't tipped in or tapped into Unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball, man, shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all, but y'all need a little bit of help because it's women's basketball by far is the best competitive basketball sport I can watch outside of 1v1 basketball just on YouTube, because that shit get crazy. But women's basketball, I mean, it's really like that. 3-on-3 Unrivaled is so fun, so high pace. It's everything that you wish sometimes the WNBA is. It's just a little bit faster. That's what Unrivaled is. So y'all pull up. Monday, we're going to start talking about Unrivaled, and then we're going to continue to follow Unrivaled throughout its season, on top of continuing to giving y'all NCAA top 25 breakdowns, talk about women's college basketball leading up to March Madness, because March, y'all know, it gets mad. So shout out to y'all. Miss D said Unrivaled was good. Grandma Point point guard shout out. Y'all know Chelsea, the point guard, she gonna show out. Anytime you get Chelsea Gray at basketball, she bound to put on a show. So shout out to Chelsea Gray, man. Shout out to the Roses. Shout out to all the unrivaled, man. It was great basketball. The opening days, so opening week. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited for basketball in 2026. That was my New Year's resolution, just to get competitive basketball in 2026. I don't want no BS. I don't want no BS. So give me good basketball. As we leading into the WNBA season, I don't want no fluky injury on every team. I don't need all that. I don't need all that. I just need some good basketball. Maybe Bron go back to our Cavs. I mean, I don't think Bron getting old. You know what I mean? I don't think he cut for the snow no more. He been LA conditioned, you know what I'm saying? He been conditioned. I don't think he a snow baby no more. And I'm cool with that, cuz you know what I'm saying? I can't deal with it either. I can't with the snow. I can't. But shout out to y'all who everybody in the snow and all that. And when I had the snow this past winter, I said, "Hell no, I don't like that." I remember why I don't live in Cleveland no more. Okay. Shout out to y'all. Again, pull up on Monday. Her core, her rules every Monday, every Wednesday. Calf State of Mind. Every Wednesday, Calf State of Mind, 6 p.m. EST. You already know how we do. It's your girl, Naja Lee. Peace and freedom. Peace and blessings. Peace and freedom, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe. Get into the comment on the way out, man. And again, everybody be safe. I'll get at y'all next week. Peace and freedom. It's your girl, Naja Lee, and this is Calf State of Mind.